Okay. You also are interested in what Defenders of Wildlife has done to conserve manatees. They're beautiful, wonderful animals, really very graceful, um, just gorgeous animals. And they're in very, very serious trouble. This year in particular, this last summer, was really terrible for manatees. A number of them died, hundreds and hundreds of them died because of poisoning in the water from poisonous algae. And they also are repeatedly threatened by being struck by motorboats with the propeller blades. It cuts their backs up because they're just under the water, and boats come through really fast, and the propellers will slice their backs, which will either kill them directly or they'll become infected from having these cuts up their backs. It's really quite sad to see manatees in Florida when you see all the scars on their backs, because you know that they've been sliced and cut with motorboat blades. Defenders of Wildlife has been very actively involved for years in promoting manatee conservation in Florida. We have worked for years with the State Wildlife Conservation Agency to promote manatee conservation. We filed a lawsuit challenging the way that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the state of Florida were mismanaging manatees and not providing them adequate protection, and we won in court. And that forced the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to set aside more protected areas for manatees where they would be safe from motorboat traffic. And we're very worried right now that given the number of deaths, the high mortality rate that happened this summer, where I want to say close to 600 to 700 manatees may have died, is huge. That now is the wrong time again for removing federal protection under the Endangered Species Act. We think they need it more than ever now because of this huge die-off that occurred. And the other problem with manatees is that they're very sensitive to change in water temperature. So if you have a very cold winter and the temperatures really drop, it can kill a number of the manatees because they need warm water. And one of the things that has happened over the years as our climate has changed is that manatees increasingly will spend time around electrical plants that generate electricity because it has water coming out of the plant that's warm. And so they will stay around these pipes coming out of these power plants generating electricity because it's warm water. And so they sort of group in under these areas. And it's just a sign again of how, because of climate change, the environment is changing and is harming a number of animals. And particularly manatees are very vulnerable to this. And so as we continue to think of ways of protecting species like manatees, we have to take into account a number of things. How to protect them from motorboats, how to make sure that they will be able to survive changes in climate when it becomes extremely cold. And so there are a number of things that need to be done to continue to protect manatees, but they're not safe yet. They're still in jeopardy.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Too long-winded.